The multitude of colorful threads represents over 12,000 masterpieces of Chinese painting from across the millennia. They transcend time and space, carrying forward the continuing heritage of Chinese culture. Chinese painting has a long and rich history with masterpieces that shine like stars in a galaxy. Countless scholars and artists, through writing, reproducing, and woodblock printing, have left behind valuable textual and visual documentation that carry the cultural genes and spiritual codes of the Chinese nation. A comprehensive collection of ancient Chinese paintings showcases the emergence, development, and evolution of Chinese painting and interprets the distinct aesthetic, natural perspectives, and values of Chinese culture. China's 5,000 years of civilization illuminates the path to the future for this ancient nation. This interactive audiovisual installation entitled Resonance draws its creative inspiration from the renowned Northern Song landscape painting Travelers Among Mountains and Streams. Today, this national treasure, which is housed in the Taipei Palace Museum, has been brought to life by the West Lake.
如果说中国艺术史上选一座山峰，肯定就是它了。三座大山有不同的说法，但是如果选一座，就一定是西山行旅了。20年前，法国蓬皮杜艺术中心做一个中国的古典的艺术的展览，他们一直找不到这个题目叫什么题目啊？最后一下看到这件作品的时候，突然之间嘣的一下，所有人脑子里蹦出一个词叫“神圣的山”。
The painting was made by bringing together two pieces of silk. In its center, a massive mountain peak rises into view. To one side of the peak, a waterfall cascades down, disappearing into the swirling mist and clouds. The surroundings of the mountain peak are lush with dense vegetation. A group of merchant travelers enters the scene, their mules loaded with heavy cargo as they plod on their way.
你看，在大山的两个山涧之间，它有一道白练，就是瀑布，画的渲染的非常幽深。它又打破了这种山野的沉寂，所以你能够在这画面能够听到水声、骡马声、人的喧嚣声、溪流的流动，所以这种动静造成了山水画的一个大的一个体象。
This painting has been known of for many hundreds of years, but its authorship has been a subject of debate for centuries. Despite the inscription and signature of Dong Qichang, a renowned Ming Dynasty scholar and artist, its authenticity remains unconfirmed. Records tell us that the 12th century emperor Huizong of the Song dynasty once had a collection of 58 paintings by Fang Quan. However, by the time of the Qianlong emperor's reign in the 18th century, only a few of his paintings remained. This is the China Academy of Art on Hangzhou's Nanshan Road. Its founding is closely associated with the modern Chinese educator Cai Yuanpei. In 1928, Cai Yuanpei was the president of the University Council of the national government. He chose a location on the shores of West Lake and established China's first institution of higher art education, the National Academy of Art, promoting art education as a substitute for religion. Germany is the largest economy in Europe. It was once the birthplace of the Second Industrial Revolution and is renowned for modern universities and technological innovations. In 1907, Tsai Yuanpei arrived in Germany to study at Leipzig University, where he also worked part-time. Many notable intellectuals like Goethe, Nietzsche, and Lessing had studied there. Lessing wrote his key work on aesthetics, Lao Kun, while at the university. Tsai Yuanpei studied aesthetics and psychology in Leipzig, often visiting museums to appreciate the works of famous artists. He said, "Aesthetic education has left a deep impression on me in Germany. I am willing to exert my utmost to promote it." In due course, he would introduce the German concept of aesthetic education to China, putting into practice his ideal of saving the nation through aesthetic education. The academy established by Tsai Yuanpei produced a large number of Chinese painting masters. Among them, one individual shares a special connection with the painting Travelers Among Mountains and Streams, Li Lin-Can. In 1948, Li Lin-Can accompanied a large number of national treasures, including Travelers Among Mountains and Streams, to Taiwan. He later served as the deputy director of the Taipei Palace Museum.
李林灿原来是李谷禅先生的入室弟子，他就是用采取考古的办法。你知道我们考古都是用网格在地上挖，那么他就把这幅画作为一个考古探方一样，一个网格一个网格找，最后好不容易在一个不起眼的地方发现了范宽的这个名款。
《山行岭图》就画过了1000年，一直没有人发现这个到底是不是范宽画的。上个世纪终于发现2个字叫范宽，但这个画就放大很大了，对吧？范宽2个字，范宽，
原图是只有2米高
2米多，对，2个字的范宽。这么厉害。
其实宋画的非常重要的精品都在台湾，大概220张，就以前都是我们大陆的文物到台湾去展览，没有能够真正实现就是台北故宫博物院珍藏的动向。就是浙江大学可以说是第一次做，所以它其实是一个开创性的工作。
Bringing together national treasures of painting from both sides of the Taiwan Straits and connecting Chinese cultural heritage has become a key mission of the collection.
那么现在呢，台北故宫博物院藏的宋画终于印出来了，这个是一个破天荒的一件具有极大历史意义的一件大事情。
The emergence of landscape painting in China is closely related to the Chinese people's view of nature. China's mountainous regions account for 2/3 of its territory. In ancient times, mountains were the dwelling places of its first ancestors.
中国有这么多的名山，实际上都是跟人与自然的一种与天地相往返的这样一个过程而产生。而这些名山的产生，为什么这些道观或者寺庙建立这些名山里面，实际上就是一种人对自然的敬畏之心。
In Chinese culture, mountains have been regarded as sacred places where gods, Taoist sages, Buddhist monks, hermits, and literati would reside, and where ordinary people would yearn to visit. They are also a cultural motif that has been passed down for millennia in Chinese landscape painting.
山水的文化是在2晋6朝建立起来的。游春图，这是存世的第一件山水作品。山水不只是风景，中国人的世界观在其中。
Landscape is also one of the traditional subjects in Western classical art. This painting is by the 16th century Dutch landscape master Peter Bruegel the Elder. When viewed in parts, it bears some similarities to Chinese landscape painting, but its use of perspective and artistic techniques is quite distinct. Bruegel's mountains serve as a backdrop for human activities in the real world. In Chinese painting, however, mountains often take center stage as the main subject. Chinese landscape painting originated over 1,500 years ago during the Wei, Jin, and the Northern and Southern dynasties. By the time of the Northern Song dynasty, landscape painting reached its zenith. The high, deep, and level distance perspective, as well as methods for texturing brushwork, were basically established. Fan Quan, Guo Xi, and Li Cheng were important figures of the period. In the eyes of the Chinese, mankind is an integral part of nature, and their moral values are aligned with the cosmic order found in the landscapes. Starting with Spring Tour, Chinese landscape painting broke away from the concept of figures being more important than the landscape around them, and water not being depicted with vibrancy. A natural view of unity between heaven and humanity was established.
Die Berge und das Wasser sind ja die wichtigsten Bestandteile der Landschaftsmalerei. Die chinesischen Landschaftsmaler haben diese synästhetischen Phänomene in ihren Malereien sehr gut auch angewandt und erwarten sie auch von dem Betrachter, dass wir alles als Gesamtwerk erleben.
This tradition that started during the Wei, Jin, and the Northern and Southern dynasties embraces a wide range of influences and continues to this day. It embodies the unique sentiments of Chinese intellectuals towards nature, the world, and their homeland. In the autumn of 2021, a dance drama called Poetic Dance, the journey of a legendary landscape painting, became popular across China. It started an aesthetic fashion for the Song era. The inspiration for the dance was drawn from the famous Song painting, 1,000 Li of Mountains and Rivers. Villages, pathways, figures, boats, pavilions, and bridges are well positioned amidst the landscapes. On close scrutiny, you'll find residences, gardens, academies, temples, and inns among the mountains. Figures include those transporting goods, visiting friends, horse riding, walking, or just admiring the scenery. On the water, there are fishing boats, cargo ships, passenger vessels, fishermen casting nets, and oarsmen. It all creates a tranquil scene of peace. The dance drama tells the story of Wang Ximeng, an 18-year-old youth from the Northern Song dynasty who painted 1,000 li of mountains and rivers. In the drama, Wang Ximeng and a modern curator of the Palace Museum engage in a dialogue across time and space. However, 17 years before that, this conversation had already taken place between the compilers of the collection and the 1,000-year-old ancient painting in the Palace Museum.
对，现在我看你写的要补拍一点，
对
是吧？
对对，
主要是照相的效果问题。
是，这本如果出来的话，对全国也好，乃至就是那个全世界学术界都是有它非常积极的意义。这个都是古工厂的东西。
The compilation involved the photographing of over 250 Song paintings, many of which are national treasures. Especially rare is 1,000 li of mountains and rivers, which has been publicly displayed only 4 times in nearly a century due to concerns about irreversible damage caused by the flaking of the mineral pigments.
这样，我们当初做一决定，这张画暂时封存，不做展览，也不做出版，就把它保护起来了。这样一直封存了17年。那么这次来了以后呢，这张画是绕不过去的。但是我们从另外一个角度讲，封存了17年，它里边是什么样子啊？也得看一眼啊。我们好就这个机会下决心，我们打开一次照一次，看看它什么样子。
The painting is 1,191.5 centimeter across, with stacked, undulating scenes and vast azure water stretching as if for thousands of miles. It is truly spectacular, resembling an aerial view of China in a scroll.
这张画到今天还是绚丽多彩，就依然你看了像崭新的一样。当时的石青都是翡翠啊这种矿物颜料做的，覆盖性很强。徽宗的本意就想用这么好的颜料画这样一个山川，这种青山叠翠，湖水浩荡，它也表达了一种江山永固、天下社稷这样一个太平顺势的这样一个气象。
The long scroll was painted by Wang Shimeng, a student of the Northern Song Academy. He had mastered the painting techniques of his teacher, Emperor Huizong. Unfortunately, just 2 years after completing the artwork, Wang Shimeng passed away. He left behind just one great work, but it has retained its glory for 1,000 years. James Cahill was a renowned American expert on the history of Chinese art. In 1973, following President Nixon's visit to China, he arrived on the Chinese mainland as a member of an American archaeological delegation. What he wanted to see most of all was the authentic masterpiece, 1,000 li of mountains and rivers. He called the early Northern Song landscape paintings monumental.
今天下午呢，我们主要是围绕着一幅中国的一幅城市名画《千里江山图》做一个赏析。
对，这些。
我们看到了这样的一幅画呢，大概是12米长。如果你进入画中，你会感觉听到什么？
我觉得我会听到细细的流水声，因为里面有瀑布。
我会听到渔夫们把渔网捞出来，水滴到水里的声音。哇！鸟儿喳喳的叫。
哦。我觉得还能听到那个笛子和箫的声音。
很好，很好。中国的绘画呢，就是里面会有很多的诗意和诗境，需要你用心的去品绘。
哦，你是这个吧？
等一下，这个。
千里江山图由绢画翻译成壁画，这样的话体验性就更强一些。画的时候怎么能够快？其实不是着急就是快，你安下心来，稳稳的一步一步的走，它就不会慢。这个呢，就会把传统的东西拉到现在。让孩子们走进传统，触摸传统，还有感受传统带给我们的喜悦，还有精神，这个就是传承。
The 18-year-old Wang Shimeng at the Imperial Painting Academy of the Northern Song Dynasty probably had never imagined that today the sole work he left behind would become teaching material for elementary school art education.
那么这个东西是眼睛是不能看到的，因为你眼睛所有看到都是有角度的，近大远小就是错觉。看到这个人大于山，你看我们这个就马上就是你要规避这个透视，回到它原本的那个样子，这个叫得山水之真。啊，就这张，对。来，看看这张西湖图，它的视角很有意思，它是一个鸟瞰。其实，在现在我们反而可以看到这样的景，在当时是看不到这样的景的。也就是说，山水画的一种游观的一种思想，把自己变成一只鸟，飞到天上俯瞰。
This work from the Southern Song Dynasty is the earliest known Westlake painting. It presents a faithful, panoramic view of the lake from over 800 years ago. The collection includes over 20 paintings of the West Lake, and Lin Haizhong particularly likes the work Fishermen playing their flutes in the quiet dusk by the Hangzhou painter Xia Gui. Xia Gui was a renowned painter of the Southern Song Dynasty, and this painting is from his scroll painting 12 Views of Landscape. The original contained 12 sections, but today only 4 remain. They are housed in the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art in the United States. 10 years ago, Lin Haizhong and his friends, flutist Du Rusong and architect Wang Shu, were sitting in an old mansion by the West Lake. They were painting, talking, and playing music. Their activities caught the attention of an anthropology professor from New York University. Professor Morgan was fascinated by this elegant classical lifestyle. He subsequently invited Lin Haizhong and Du Rusong to the United States for a painting and flute duet concert. At the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art, the 3 men from Hangzhou had the privilege of encountering another figure of Hangzhou from 8 centuries ago.
那么他把作品从地库里调出来，就是这件这个余地清幽。
海中看到这张画之后，直接趴地上了。他不是说形容词，就他看这个画的状态，他是趴在地板上这样仰视看的，整个人趴在地上看的，因为这张画完全就把他给镇住。
就你看到的时候，整个一身汗就出来了。
The sound of the flute is clean and pure. Lin Haizhong, inspired by Du Rusong's playing, wields his brush and ink across the ages in homage to Xia Gui.
所以中国画都有以物喻人的嘛，一棵小草可能代表一个强大的生命力，一波网金水可能代表一匹汪洋。所以我们说，看山是山，看山不是山，看山还是山。我想它观水是水，观水不是水，观水还是水，它是一个循环往复的不同的阶段的境界的提升，从笔墨境界、人文境界、生命境界的大化，这才是绘画的本意和本质和核心。
Water is the source of life and the wellspring of civilization. Giovanni di Paolo was a 15th century Italian artist who painted St. Clair rescuing the shipwrecked. It is one of the early Western paintings known for its depiction of water. The painting portrays the miraculous rescue of sailors caught in a storm at sea. It features turbulent waves with the sea resembling a range of mountains, strongly conveying the symbolism of the scene. After the 19th century, painting water scenes became a favorite subject for many Western artists. Notable exponents include Russian painter Ivan Aivazovsky and the French painter Claude Monet. In ancient Chinese landscape paintings, there are few artworks that exclusively depict water. Even rarer are those that use pure lines to represent flowing and changing water. This is Ma Yuan's water studies from the collection. It consists of 12 paintings which vividly depict the various forms of water in different seasons, times, and locations. Ma Yuan is renowned alongside Xia Gui. Both had a distinctive style in their landscape paintings. They focused on one corner composition and engaged with the beauty of concealment so characteristic of Southern Song painting. The Ma family, over 5 generations, were all court painters during the Song dynasty. Ma Yuan was born in Hangzhou. His grandfather, Ma Xingzu, left the former capital city of Kaifeng after its fall to the Jurchen and went south with Emperor Gaozong's court. Ma Yuan painted his 12 water studies depicting scenes of the Yellow River, the Yangtze River, and the Dongting Lake. These paintings reflect the story of the Ma family's flight from Kaifeng and demonstrate the painter's deep attachment to his homeland. Lao Tzu says the highest virtue is like water. Water, both firm and gentle, is in motion and at rest at the same time. Lao Tzu's Dao De Jing associates water with the Dao, and the two complement each other, possessing both spiritual essence and form. The Yangtze and Yellow rivers are the great symbols of the Chinese nation. Water embodies the wisdom of the people and forms the foundation of Chinese civilization. The Chinese people have left countless myths and legends in their struggle to manage and control water. For thousands of years, Chinese landscape painting has captured in the strokes of the brush the character of the Chinese people as firm like the mountains and gentle like the waters, carrying forward the unique wisdom and values of the Chinese nation. Today, the collection carries the cultural memories and civilization of the Chinese nation in its own distinctive way. The maritime Silk Road was an ancient route for trade and cultural exchange between China and the world beyond. It originated during the Qin and Han dynasties, flourished in the Tang and Song periods, and evolved further during the Ming and Qing dynasties. Its long-standing nature has shaped China's history. Ningbo Port is located in the central part of China's mainland coastline, on the southern wing of the Yangtze River economic belt. It is one of the major ports on the maritime Silk Road. During the Tang, Song, and Yuan dynasties, 32 groups of Japanese monks came to the Tiantong Temple to seek the Dharma, while 11 groups of Chinese monks went to Japan to spread Buddhism. Most traveled to or from Ningbo. This painting by the famous Tang Dynasty artist Li Zhen was brought to Japan by the Japanese monk Kukai from Ningbo. It became a key piece of Buddhist iconography in Japan. In the southern Song dynasty, the abbot of the Wanshou temple, Chan master Wu Zhun Shifan, welcomed many Japanese disciples. Among them was one who later became the renowned Japanese Buddhist master Shoichi Kokushi. He and Wu Zhun Shifan's Chinese disciple Mu Xi were Dharma brothers. He and other Japanese monks took Mushi's artworks to Japan. Mushi was to become referred to as the great benefactor of the Japanese painting tradition. In 1256, Mushi was the abbot of the Liutong Temple in Hangzhou. To this day, Japanese scholars still refer to Mushi and his disciples as the Liutong Temple School. The Liutong Temple has long been lost to history. Today, only this 1,000-year-old Tang camphor tree, weathered by the years, stands guard over the lush landscape. The young man is Hu Zhe. He came from a family renowned for scholarly and cultural pursuits and is the founder of an academy located by the West Lake. The academy is situated within an ancient temple. During the Northern Song dynasty, a Korean prince came here in search of Buddhist teachings. As a result, this place later became known as the Huiyin Korean Temple. Today, this place often hosts gatherings inspired by the elegance of the Song dynasty. They allow people to feel as if they have traveled through time and experienced the refined culture of a millennium ago.
宋代的对茶粉的研磨工具，它经历了捣、碾、磨3个过程。刘宋年的碾茶桶。 这个点茶器具还是一个壶，带耳朵的这个壶，在壶中点茶。文威图的点茶，它是个瓯，介于壶跟盏之间，可以供20个人左右同时饮用。李松的货鸾图上面有把茶筅，圆形的直丝的茶筅在卖。 丰富啊！
丰富啊！双手同步来的，哇，好香啊！
好香啊！
好香！
好香啊！好。
这个比冰淇淋漂亮。
漂亮啊！
我觉得宋代的对于美的认知，它是一个雅俗兼资的，或俗或雅，大俗大雅。我是非常愿意成为这方面的一个文化的践行者和传承者。我希望传递一种古代文人的一种精神。
你这不切啊，从那个部分。
An elegant gathering refers to an assembly of ancient literati where they would recite poetry, write essays, and engage in discussion.
中国画当中一个非常主流的绘画的传统就是文人画。文人画就是文人、士大夫他们作为一个创作主体创作的这些绘画。那么这个雅集呢，跟他们的生活这个关联度特别高。 跟他们的理念也特别相通啊，跟他们的趣味也是特别相投，他们就特别喜欢画这个题材，从中呢，既是对先贤的一种致敬、一种怀念啊，也是对自己生活的一种反应，更是他精神生活的一种寄托吧。
During the reign of Emperor Shenzong of the Northern Song Dynasty, Wang Shen, the emperor's son-in-law, invited 16 renowned scholars, including Su She, Su Zhi, and Li Gonglin, to gather at his residence. Afterwards, Li Gonglin painted his elegant gathering in the Western Garden, which was subsequently inscribed by Mi Fu. Unfortunately, the original has been lost. Since the participants in this elegant gathering were all among the greatest talents of their time, admiring future generations created numerous paintings inspired by this theme. Since the Song Dynasty, many famous scholars have contributed their own elegant gathering paintings. The collection includes quite a number of them, documenting the classical tradition of literary gatherings. The ancient, elegant gatherings of emperors, aristocrats, and scholars have been transformed in today's world. The age-old tradition has been infused with a new vitality, and elegant gatherings have become a regular leisure activity in the lives of ordinary Chinese people.
大家跟我走，跟着我走吧。实际上机会是很难得的，有很多绘画是很难得一见的。先来看看一件著名的作品吧，就是董源的那个作品。董源的绘画存留的非常非常少。最重要的这件大概就是现在我们面前看到的这件西岸图了，现在收藏在大都会博物馆。这件当中更多的看到是什么呢？山石的绘画上比较古朴。
Dong Yuan was a court painter during the Southern Tang in the Five Dynasties period. Riverbank is an ink and color landscape on a silk hanging scroll. It depicts a secluded, natural environment along the water's edge with mountains beyond. The painting features peculiar rock formations, winding streams between the valleys, and a tranquil scene of life among rippling ponds.
就在这个地方，如果你仔细看这个边上，当然这个眼力非常好。这一件是迄今为止我们唯一一件有董源题字，就在这个地方。
In the lower left corner of the painting, there is an inscription that reads, "Painted by Dong Yuan." However, whether this painting truly came from the hand of Dong Yuan has sparked much debate in the art history community. In 1938, the famous artist Xu Beihong acquired this precious painting in Guilin. He referred to it as probably Dong Yuan's best painting. The eminent Chinese painter Zhang Daqian heard about this painting and borrowed it from Xu Beihong to study. A few years later, he was unwilling to return it to Xu and sent him instead Jinnong's boat returning amidst wind and rain as compensation.
张大千后来解放以后呢，又去美国，他把这张画又重新卖给了王继谦，书画的鉴定家。王继谦呢，后来又卖给了大都会的董事，叫唐留谦。所以这张绘画是到了大都会。
In 1997, Riverbank was exhibited at the Met. The New York Times featured this painting on its front page, referring to it as the Mona Lisa of China. However, Professor James Cahill, an expert on Chinese art, called it Zhang Daqian's most successful forgery.
董源是这种中国文人画派的一个鼻祖，每一件都不一样，但是这个风格上都是倾向于抒情的调子。但是你如果看西岸图，看起来不是那么抒情，不那么友好的。
On December 11th, 1999, the Met held an international symposium to discuss the authenticity of Riverbank. James Cahill and others believed that Riverbank was a forgery. Art historians Wen Fong, Richard Barnhart, and Xie Zheliu believed it to be genuine. Infrared photography technology has revealed that the painting underwent 3 restorations and remountings. This made it quite distinct from other forgeries by Zhang Daqian. Scholars like Yang Renkai argued that this painting could not possibly be a modern creation.
虽然这个研讨会没有最终给出所有人都同意的一个一致意见，但是总体倾向上还是认为它是一件古老的，至少是宋代的一件古画，在艺术的表达手段和方法上也是非常优秀的。
Riverbank is held deep within the Met, making it difficult for researchers to see it for real. This has led to a curious phenomenon where people are eager to study Riverbank, yet they cannot see the actual artwork. The collection has included this painting to facilitate the study of the tradition of Chinese landscape painting. Xu Li is a teacher at Beijing Central Academy of Fine Arts who participated in the compilation of the collection. He grew up in Tiantai and has a close connection with the ancient Guoqing Temple.
这种梅花的暗香就是一波一波的隐隐袭来的，隋梅从小就给我们这种记忆中的味道，所以即便是离开家乡再久，回到国清寺，只要这个季节，大概从山门进来，你就能感觉到这种记忆中的香味。
This ancient plum tree is over 1,400 years old. It is said to have been planted by the 5th patriarch of the Tiantai school, Master Guanding, a renowned Buddhist monk of the Sui dynasty. Monks say that this 1,000-year-old plum tree blooms and sheds its flowers in a very willful manner. This plum tree is not simply a living cultural relic, but also symbolizes the plum blossom culture of Chinese art. Sparse twigs intertwine over a shallow crystal surface. Faint aromas float under the pale yellow moon. These lines were written by the northern song poet Lin Hejing. He led a solitary life by the West Lake, accompanied by plum blossom and cranes, eschewing a life of fame and fortune. Lin Hejing incorporated the ethical views of ancient Chinese literati into his plum blossom poetry and paintings. Over the course of history, the plum blossom gradually became a symbol of the Chinese nation.
不要人夸好颜色，
不要人夸好颜色，
只留清气满乾坤。
只留清气满乾坤。这个梅花是什么意思？
比喻人要像梅花一样。
梅花觉得自己美就美吗？
对，觉得自己美就美，不要求别人的夸奖。
Wang Mian was born into a poor farming family and lost his father at a young age. He had a strong desire for learning. While tending to his cattle, he often listened through the window of a private school. Later, he became a student of Hanxing, a Neo-Confucian scholar from Zhejiang. Wang Mian led a simple life. In his later years, he embraced a life of modesty and seclusion, residing on the Jiuli mountain. Here, by the side of the Inkstone Pond, he built a thatched cottage and named it Plum Blossom Study. In this secluded place, he wrote about and painted plum blossoms. During the Song and Yuan dynasties, many literati use the plum blossom as a means to express their emotions, praise virtues of character, or convey their aspirations. The plum blossom art expressed through ink reached its zenith in poetry and painting. Wang Mian inherited the so-called ink plum tradition from Yang Wujiu of the Southern Song dynasty. In his ink plum blossoms, a slanting plum branch is depicted with vigorous strokes. The plum flowers on the brink of blooming exude a vibrant vitality. The entire painting is executed using only light ink without any color, yet it possesses a sense of enchantment and poise. Plum blossoms, with their subtle fragrance, carry the profound Chinese cultural heritage. They nourish the unwavering, indomitable, and self-sacrificial spirit of the Chinese people in face of adversity and challenges. The collection is a colossal project in the culture of mankind. It has clarified the authenticity and historical transmission of ancient Chinese paintings, providing clear and authoritative images for posterity. It provides an endless treasure trove for art research and appreciation worldwide. This makes for a major contribution to the international community's deeper understanding of the aesthetic, moral, and value systems of the Chinese people. Ancient Chinese painting, practiced for thousands of years, has found a new brilliance in contemporary Chinese culture.